Hello everybody and welcome to Visually Interesting. Today we have a game that lives up to that title, Distance, which is the sort of follow-on game from Nitronic Rush, which actually is a game that I covered back in the day, about 2 years ago now. Done one video on it and that was enough to sort of get through it, but I really enjoyed it at the time. It was quite an interesting sort of concept and stuff, and generally it was pretty good. So, as I say, this one's called Distance, and it is a single-player multiplayer and split-screen multiplayer. Basically, the whole premise is that you've got a few different modes, and the first one, Sprint, is pretty obvious. It's just finish the fastest, who can finish the fastest. You have another one called Stunt, where you have to gain points by sort of doing jumps and wall rides and all that kind of crazy stuff. You've got another one called Speed and Style, which you combine both tricks and fastest time. And you've got Challenge, which is kind of a short and sweet mode. Each one's kind of maybe, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 seconds each. And you've basically got to get to the end in the quickest time possible, but the difference being you cannot reset where you are to checkpoints. So as you notice in the background of the game, there's these little green orbs that I'm going through. Green circles, they're checkpoints, and every time I die I'll re-go back to them. But on Speed and Style, unfortunately, you can't. But the idea is just to get through it in one go and set the quickest time possible. The game, so far, I've noticed it works really well. It plays really smoothly. It's at like a constant 60, I'd say, FPS. Really nice. Haven't had any crashes, bugs or anything like that occur, which is fantastic for an early access game, to be honest. I mean, it's very rare these days that you get decent fully released games that are working, let alone an early access game that actually works. Something else that I quite like actually is the loading screens, which are really nice with the blueprints and stuff. I'm actually recording this like separate to each other because for some reason I couldn't record the game and talk at the same time. Sound booth wouldn't work while recording the game. The main point of the game, I guess you could say, is that there's scoreboards. Now these scoreboards, there's individual ones for yourself, there is friends scoreboards, and there is also global scoreboards. Now the global scoreboards are really nice because they actually have the top 1,000 times. Now I say top 1,000 times because I don't think it's the top 1,000 people, I think it literally is the time. So if you were in first place with 9 seconds and you managed to set a 9.01 second, that could put you in second place. You could probably own the first and second positions of that map, which is really, really nice. Now, in that sense, it's kind of like a sort of cross between Trials and also Trackmania Stadium, I guess you could say. It's very similar to those games where you've got time trials, try and beat your friends, try and get the highest on the scoreboard, etc, etc. I really enjoy them kind of games myself, so I'll be definitely putting quite a lot of hours into this, trying to beat Capture Rapture, no doubt, and seeing what scores he gets. There's plenty of tracks in the game. There are some official tracks which are really nice. You can see them kind of in the background now. I'll probably do a little bit of flicking between them. And there's also the workshop, the Steam Workshop. Now, at the moment that has over 190 tracks from recording. That's got 190 plus tracks that you can download and play, single player and multiplayer. Now, if you want to play multiplayer, unfortunately you both have to have downloaded that track individually. It doesn't just auto-download like some games. But the fact that there's so many tracks, now I say 190, there isn't necessarily 190 quality tracks, some of them may be test tracks and all that, but there's definitely a lot of inventive stuff out there, and the track editor, which is in game, actually you can probably do so many things, and they're constantly adding stuff to the game and all that. So I mean, there's going to be hours and hours of content available on this game. As I said, in the background there's some just normal gameplay of me going through the adventure mode, which is kind of the single player story in a sense. It doesn't actually have any story to it at all, but it's just a series of official tracks that you can go through, and there's a few different routes within the tracks to get to your final destination. The idea is to get there without being blown up, and it steadily gets a little bit more harder. I mean, you start off on the tutorial, which is quite easy, and then you sort of move on to maps that have got flying and within them, and there's lasers shooting around all over the place, buzzsaws and all grinders and things in it. So that's it does get quite complex after a while. What I might do though, guys, now is I'll just let you listen to some of the music in the game as well, because the music is really nice. So I'm just going to play a level here, and I'll just shut up for a second and you can listen to the music that's going on in the background. Also, just have a look and see all of the mechanics and stuff that are in the game, such as the like 90-degree turns to sort of defy gravity and jump onto the next track that's sort of in the opposite direction. Things like going through lasers and having it cut you in half and stuff like that. In fact, the laser thing is really nice because it cuts you in half, and it will literally, you'll have to drive with yourself being cut in half until you get to the next checkpoint where it will revive you. So anyway guys, this next track that's coming up, I'm just going to be quiet now and you can listen to some of the music that's going on in that track and see what you think about it. Okay guys, so this was just a very small little first look at the game. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again in the next video. Goodbye.